Hello again. Welcome back to the Spirit of Watercolor. Hi, Linda here again. I'm so glad that you're back with me and we're continuing our journey of watercolor painting together. And the last video I did that we explored different kinds of non-brush techniques. My earlier videos are using the brush and all the techniques, and we've covered quite a few, and most of those, I hope anyway. And now I've been looking at what we call gimmicks or non-brush techniques. So I have this tray, which you may recall from that video. It's just called non-brush techniques, that video. And all these great things, salt, saran wrap, so on it. And I had a comment from someone of some of the things on here that they liked and would like to see me demonstrate how to use. Okay, so I just thought, well, I'll go from the ones that people seem interested in. I think that's a good way for us to connect. And some of these I haven't done in a while, so it's going to refresh, my use of them. I think sometimes we kind of get into a habit, and I do love certain things, certain techniques, and I sometimes forget. Beside the basic, brush techniques and salt and saran and so on, some of these other great, cool things we can do. So what I wanted to do today is show you what fun we can have with some of the things that rubbing alcohol can do when you put that into the painting. And I have this little sample, which is not, it's just a quick, sketch, so I can kind of remember what the alcohol does. And it just kind of created some white marks on the painting, and actually they were little circles, but I manipulated them. I may not do that in our next video. I may leave some of those droplets right in there and see, how they dry and how they look, so we can think about what we can do with them that way as well. And then the other really, really cool thing here is that I want to do, so we'll do these two things, is the glycerin. A good old bottle of glycerin. You can buy it like alcohol in any grocery store, probably pharmacy. And it creates some really cool flowing effects, and that's actually on this little painting as well. Down in the bottom where it sort of turned white and just flowed. And you can, manipulate your board and make it slide this way and that way, and it's slow flowing and kind of creates some wonderful effects. Maybe water, maybe sliding down the mountain tops, got the snow on them. Lots of neat things, right? So I thought we'll do kind of a large abstracted piece where it's kind of landscape-ish, sort of like we did with the variegated wash one. And we'll have fun, use some interesting colors, and get excited and have something that we can explore together and add to our repertoire of wonderful ways to create beautiful, exciting, colorful effects with watercolors that I think you'll really enjoy in your own work. So let's get started. I'm ready. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is a very small sketch, which I just did just to get an idea of what I want to do on the large Fabriano paper here. And I did put in some alcohol drops in the top, but I manipulated them, and I may or may not do that. They make little circles, but down here is the glycerin, which I really want to play with and show you what it does. It has that slow movement. It sort of moves through the painting and creates a really interesting effects, but I think we'll even get more going with this painting on better paper. I had some Strathmore paper, which wasn't the best thing I could have used. I'm also going to draw. I'm not going to paint. This is a watercolor magazine, and I really like this picture, but I'm not going to copy it. I'm just going to take some of the elements of it that I like, not the colors. You can take paintings from other people, but don't copy them. Unless you're just practicing, never sign them. That was what my professor told me. But I like some of the mountainous forms and some shapes here, and I may stick with limited colors. But I'm going to sort of go with this kind of thinking because it's very loose and abstract, and I really like that. So let's draw that up, and then we'll go from there over to our, okay, my pencil here, there we go. And so let's get the whole paper in here, if we can. And then we'll draw in there some, I don't know if my lighting is good either. Let's double check everything. Okay, yeah. And then, I don't know what that is there. Okay, then we're gonna kind of look at our drawing and draw up some really quick shapes, okay? I like some of this with the flowing of the glycerin idea. And so it doesn't have to look exactly, and I don't want it to look really like what I'm enjoying from this other painting. But there's some elements that look kind of to me like water and kind of like mountainous or volcanic something. I don't know, it's pretty cool. So let's kind of take what we like here, and then we'll kind of make a very different kind of painting than really your normal waterscapes or landscapes. It's going to be quite abstracted. In the background I see some smaller things going on, smaller mountainous things. Maybe they'll be lighter in value like our last value video. All right, let's go to the next part where we start to apply paint and try cotton and glycerin. Okay, here is hopefully not too many funny shadows, but the lighting is showing some of the wrinkle in my paper. I didn't stretch this, and you can, and I've forgotten that this Fabriano probably should have been, but anyway, I'm trying not to get too wet. And I put Carbazzo Violet, and I did a graduated wash up there. Let's see if you could see. Can I get closer? Yeah. I've got this gorgeous violet going on here. It's a beautiful purple, very neutral color. I probably should have, well, over here it's a little unclean. I don't know if I can clean that up. And then it's graduating down. I'm going to drop a little bit of the alcohol up there and just see what we get. We'll try to get some nice effects. I've never used my best brush for this kind of thing. I've got these brushes that are, I think they're by, they're synthetic and they're golden, something by Cheap Joe's. They make these. I'm just going to drop some of this alcohol, and you'll see the dots, the circles come out on the top from this. It's going to create a very interesting effect. I'm not going to try to control this too much because for all I know it just can be rain or something, but you know, they're such perfect little circles that it makes, but you can manipulate them if you want to. I did in my other little sketch. But then when I got finished, I thought, oh, why don't we see what this stuff does for us? I think maybe dot a few little dots in there too and see what we get. Okay. I like just sometimes these non-brush techniques like we talked about, and just creating with them and see what they'll do for us. And then we'll see how this works. I have 2 tubs of water here. I'll go back to that smaller view. So the one tub I have on the out here in the back, I'm rinsing the alcohol and the glycerin because I don't know if I want that to mix in my just regular rinsing water. So I always have 2 tubs of water, by the way, over here, sorry. So the one over there, I'm just rinsing the alcohol and glycerin. This one here, I'm just rinsing my brushes that have paint on them. So I'm not mixing too many things and creating effects where I don't want to fix. Okay. So yeah, so we've got our sort of beautiful stuff going here. I do see a little bit of line work in my, a little bit of brush stroke maybe, and maybe not. Maybe I'm best to just leave that alone. It's really an ethereal, I didn't realize how this Carbazzo Violet is so wonderfully transparent in a light effect like this, not a dark wash. Yeah, I would love to put some dark stuff in there, but let's just see where that goes for the moment. I might put in some darker amounts of that color in just to create a very fun sky. Yeah, my Carbazzo Violet, it's gorgeous, Daniel Smith. And but those are creating some interesting little water effects up there. I think what I'm going to do now is pretty soon I'm going to go into the land here, and we're going to start to do some things with glycerin. But before I do that, depending how wet my paper is, no, I think I'm just going to maybe just leave that. I might just bring in a little bit of effect up here with the top area of this. There's some mountainous stuff in the background. I'm going to use warmer colors as I get closer, but I kind of wanted to get in some of this wonderful Carbazzo, more of it, and a little more intense color somewhere in this painting. Again, we're just experimenting. Don't be afraid to experiment with nice large sheets of paper. And, ooh, I'm getting a real deep, lovely effect here, which is something I like to do. It's the way I like to make sometimes the mountaintops. So I used a soft wash, and then I'm bringing in a deeper amount of this color here, letting it flow into the other, and you might create a little more things going on back in there. When I get up close, I'm going to do that wonderful glycerin wash for you, though. Okay. But for here, we just want to see what we get here. If it gets too wet, you don't forget your paper towels. You can always lift. I don't know if I'm ready to make that decision yet, though. Here, I'm just letting the paints flow. You get some beautiful stuff flowing. I feel like my camera could be, I don't know, the lighting in here could be better. Could be. Yeah, look at that flowing, right? All the way to the next little lines of mountain there. Yeah. And then I'm using that graduated wash, which is in my early technique videos, where these go from darker to lighter, where you want it. Okay. And then I'm adding in and letting them, it's like a, oops, not that brush. It's like a variegated wash, but it's the same color. I could bring in different colors into this also if I wanted to. But for now, I'm just kind of enjoying one color, and I may only use a couple colors in here. As this dries, I can add more color and texture, or more intense color. And then I want that to kind of flow to the other side as well here. Flow and soften. Yeah. Painting is meant to be fun. It's not meant to always be, striving for this best, I think sometimes there's so much pressure on us in this world to be the best, the most. You can't stop and just do something just for the fun of it and just to learn from what you do, which is unfortunate to me. Okay, I'm gonna have to get around my camera to get in there a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, okay. I'm letting that just sort of go, and I don't always follow my lines, I may or may not do that, because I like some of these darks in there. Ooh, that's fun. Yeah. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to add in more paint, or let it dry more. It's not as dry as I want it, to add more of this paint where it'll not spread so fast. It's gotten pretty wet. I'm not lifting with my towel, because that will just kind of take the paint right out, and I don't necessarily want that with this flowy kind of fun type paintings. Yeah, there we go.
Just letting that in different value amounts flow in and out of the piece. Yeah. We're gonna let some of this dry, but we've got some interesting things going on up there in the top here. Okay. And then down here we've got our I call it bleeding. I know there's a better name for that, where the paints kind of flow together up in there. And then I'm going to add, like I said, more depth in here. And then when we start to come in here, I'm going to start to maybe blend in maybe some quinacridone rose, some kind of more warmer tones, and who knows, maybe some oranges as well, or something as it comes forward. But it's going to be a kind of an interesting piece for sure. Okay. Just looking at this painting right now, you can see I'm still doing washes of color. Some very soft, light value. It's very transparent, just almost a sand color here. As we come down the mountains, the abstracted mountains, and just enjoying the flowing paints in there. We're getting down where we're going to start using that glycerin pretty soon. And you can see up here, very softly, and I'm going to get more. I'm going to go back up here and do more in a darker purple and do more of that alcohol, because it's really hard to see. It got very light. I forget sometimes how light painting. There's a nice white spot from the alcohol, though. That it gets too light when it dries if you don't apply enough paint, like I did down here where it really holds. Okay, I just got very excited. I put in some orange and I mixed it in with that quinacridone burnt orange, which is up in the top, and the purple. And I'm just going to stick with those three colors and letting this flow down. It's very, very fun and wonderful. And then I'm going to get that glycerin and start to put it in sooner than I thought. I just got excited and I thought, well, let's just get this thing going, right? And I'm going to just pop in some more colors, maybe try to bring in a lot more intensity. I can bring some of those oranges back in there to unify the top and the bottom, but oh my, this is gorgeous, right? So let's just get as much color down here as I can. I'm going to go up here and get some of this purple, bring that back in as well. And then, you know, we did that variegated wash, which was very exciting painting, and this can kind of mimic that as well. But I'm going to, you know, get a little more of this fun, crazy watercolor stuff going. I'm going to even hit it with my water bottle, which I wasn't planning to use here, but there it is, and we can flow that in a little too. Paper towel is always a must if you overshoot, which I just did. And then I'm going to, you know, lift this board with a little gravity up and let those paints flow down a little bit more like that. Ooh, yes. Let the gravity do its thing. And then we're going to drop in some glycerin pretty soon. It's one of these things where I'm actually spontaneously working because it's fun. I do use my not so good brushes again. Okay, so I must show now that I've added the glycerin's all down in there, and it's just slowed down this movement of this paint flow. And it's a softer flow. It's not just running like fast, and it's very pretty, isn't it? The way that that's flowing down there. And it's the glycerin that's slowing it down, which I find really awesome. I think I'm going to keep going with a little more on the other side here. Although I kind of like what it was doing on that side, so I have to think about this a little. We'll just do a little touch up here and see what that good old glycerin is affecting on this side as well. Okay. Yeah, it moves much slower. It's very fun. Yeah. Ooh, see? Yeah, it's a slow flow. In a sense, I'm kind of discovering as I'm using it that maybe applying the glycerin first is creating a more exciting effect than when I added it after. I think I like it more. Woohoo! I hope the lighting's good here. I'm gonna add more color on that side. Okay, as it has been setting up and drying, I just keep adding more really awesome paint in, and it's just flowing slow because of the glycerin. And I'm enjoying this, and I hope you are too. I kind of went off on it a little differently, the path than I thought I would, because of when I first applied it, I was applying the glycerin after the paint, and then I realized that it's slowing down the movement, and the paint's doing some really cool flows because of the glycerin on the paper. So that might be the other way of using it. Both ways work. What do you like better? You get to use and choose.
So I hope you enjoyed that experiment and demonstration of alcohol and glycerin. For me, it was kind of like brand new. I hadn't done it in so long. And I have my finished, well, it's not totally finished, but as you can see, I rather enjoyed doing it, and I added some things in. I have all this glycerin down here and the alcohol up at the top. And I think I enjoyed the glycerin more, but that's just me. You might enjoy dropping that alcohol in and moving it around and making clouds or dots of rain or things like that. And I added more purple up here and some orange in the sky, like I mentioned I would. And I did put in some little trees, which is a dab, drag, and lift technique from very early in our videos. So you might want to go back to that if you're wondering how I added all these little trees into the painting. And I don't know if I'm finished or not yet, but I thought let's get the video up, because having the two non-brush techniques in there made this video longer, so I'm going to do one non-brush technique at a time from here on. So let's continue. I did want to show you that I added a little bit though into this dancer painting, and it's just started, but here she is. You can see her leg and she's not painted yet, but on the side I did use the alcohol drops, and they're in there. Hopefully you can see what's going on in there, and was kind of pleased with the fun background, a little different negative space going on there, like the lights are flashing or whatnot in a dance place where the dancer is. Anyway, it has a lot of light and color, and used almost the same colors as I did in that, except for the orange and the reds. So yeah, so that's really been fun. So I hope you will experiment more, not be afraid, try the large paper, and keep on learning and growing and gaining your confidence, and finding that it's not all about being perfect, but it's about having fun and having this spiritual journey with me. So thank you for joining me again. I've so enjoyed these YouTube videos, and we're getting more subscribers, which means more people need to have something like this in their lives, which inspires me to continue on. So let's go next, and we'll work on some more of these fun non-brush techniques, and let me know in the comment section below what things you'd like to hear. Somebody did, and that's why I did this one. So keep coming back, and let's love the spiritual nature of this beautiful medium watercolor with Linda. See you next time.